Your family a safe and happy holiday season. And remember, if you drink, do so responsibly.
Accent Building Service, a pest control company. For all of your exterminating needs, call 713-237-1674.
All About Business with Angela Freeman is an informative new Saturday morning show that provides information on how to navigate the world of public and private contracting. Step 1, certification. Find out more about it this Saturday, All About Business with Angela Freeman, right here on 1230 The Source, Saturday morning, 9 a.m., KCOH, The Source.
KCOH Houston, wishing you the best this holiday season. 1230 The Source.
Freeman. Get ready, sit back and relax with your cup of coffee, your pen, your paper, your device, to take some notes about how to strategize for your business in 2024. Preparing is so important as you grow the success of your business. And so we're going to continue our note in December about strategic planning. 2 weeks ago, we talked about the process and the beginning stages and the components that you need to create a strategic plan in growing your business for 2024. We talked about define your mission, your vision, and your values, which are most important. That kind of sets the foundation and give you a target on where you're going. You must have clear objectives, and we call those the SMART goals: specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, time-bound. Is that right, Jay?
That's right. I remember that. I was like, man, I got to look that up.
SMART. You want to repeat that, James? What SMART stand for?
SMART is as specific, measurable, achievable, got to be relevant, and has to have a time. Has to be time bound. You got to have a deadline.
Yes, to make sure that you meet those deadlines and you getting it done.
Mm-hmm.
Those steps are taken care of. Step 3, develop your strategies. So you want to look at do some market research, understanding your market, your sales, your operations, your revenue. Develop a strategy behind all of that. Step 4, create an action plan. So don't just put something on paper, putting those SMART goals on paper and putting those objectives on paper and just putting it aside in the dust there. You got to create an action plan. How are you going to make this happen? How are you going to implement these steps? You thought about that, Jay?
I'm still working on SMART, but go ahead though. So you trying to move me over into that category of accountability, and I'm trying to stay away from that.
No, I'm holding you accountable.
Okay.
I'm holding you accountable.
No, that's what we got to be. We got to move over to the accountability stage too.
Step 5, we want to allocate resources.
Yes.
Financial, human, and technology resources. You want to allocate those resources. And we'll go over this again at the end of the show today to make sure that you can take down these notes. We had an outstanding show 2 weeks ago on the steps of creating your plan.
What was that young lady's name who gave us that great information?
Denise Shanklin,
Yes.
and she's a certified strategist.
All right.
Step 6.
That's a lot of steps.
You got 7 steps,
Okay.
Okay, you got 7 steps.
I've been through 12.
7 to heaven,
I've been through 12 steps, so I'm sure I can do 7.
You
Go
can
ahead.
at least do 7. Step 6, implement and monitor. So as you're moving forward in implementing your plan, you want to monitor. You want to monitor, are you reaching these goals? Are they the right goals? Do you need to shift some things? So you have to be agile. But you want to implement your plan and you want to monitor those steps of success. And then step 7, communicate your plan. Make sure all your stakeholders, employees, investors, partners, anyone who has any investment in your business, make sure you communicate what that plan is so everybody's on that same playing field. Okay, those were the 7 steps of strategic planning. So we want to continue the conversation going. We have another dynamic guest today. We have Miss Natasha Buckner, who is the Business Equity Training Coordinator for the Port of Houston. Good morning, Natasha.
Good morning. Good morning. Thank you so much for having me. Listen, after those smart steps, I don't know how I'm going to follow all that, okay?
Oh.
I think y'all got it all wrapped up and you got a bow tied on it.
No, we know you have something to bring to the table. They know the steps, but they need to understand the importance of those steps as a diverse business. And with you being in the industry for a very long time and having the experience in working with diverse-owned businesses, helping them to grow and develop from a startup stage, we wanted to have your input on the value of having that strategic plan. I got to drive this home to all my business owners out there in having a plan in order to guide them. And the plan is not written in stone. You can always shift. Am I right?
Yes. Listen, the shift happens, right? Well, and it's funny that you say that, because when I was on the other side of this thing, when I was outside of agency, that was the name of my business. It was Shift Advisory Group. And so what I would come in and do is really get in the back ends of those small businesses and turn them upside down and get them where they're functioning in a way that is more like a big business, right? We're cleaning up all of those things, all of those loose ends. We're tying them up, and we're making sure that they really have implemented the goals that they've set for themselves.
Excellent. So, Natasha, we want to start off by talking about who you are, just very briefly, your experience in working with diverse businesses in the community, and your current position now.
Sure, absolutely. So, of course, my name is Natasha. I owned a auto body and repair facility on the north side of Houston with my ex-husband for many years. But prior to that, my first ever job was in a small business. I interned with my uncle, and he was starting a law firm. He is coming out of the DA's office, and he had joined with a partner, and they were starting a law firm, and it really just knew how to be lawyers, right? Mm-hmm. And so that was my first experience. I had a card table and a telephone, and he said, "Here, figure it out." And so by the end of that internship, I had built out their entire back end. We had hired associates. I had written all their contingency fees and all their filing systems. And the funny thing is, he still uses all that today. And you know, I was 17 when I did it, had no idea what I was doing. But he was the one that set me on the path, right? Mm-hmm. And he said, you know, when he hired an attorney, she went to Hampton, and that attorney said, "You should go to Hampton." So I went to Hampton. He said, "Well, what you going to major in?" And I said, "Well, I'm going to be a lawyer just like you. I'm a major in pre-law, right?" And he said, "No, did you not just pay attention to what you did here? You just built the business. I think this is what you're good at. You need to continue." And mm-hmm. Here I am, 20-plus years later, having built many a business in my day.
That's awesome. And currently, what is your position?
So my position currently, I am inside at the port. Not only am I a subject matter expert as it pertains to small business, but I'm in an agency so that I can help the agency internally understand how businesses operate, how they navigate, and then externally train our small businesses on how to navigate the government procurement cycle. We know that it's a whole different world, right? And there's a lot of misinformation out there when it comes to government procurement. So that's my current roles and responsibility. I got a big, long title, but those are the responsibilities. I'm responsible for training both internally, our port folks on how to work with small businesses, and then externally, our small businesses on how to navigate that government procurement cycle.
Okay, so we're going to dive off into the Port of Houston a little bit later, but we want to stay on this theme of strategic planning and get your insight and advice on how our business owners out there should start implementing their strategic plan. KCOH family, please join in the conversation. Engage with us. Call in at 713-668-1230. That's 713-668-1230. This is your opportunity to engage with Ms. Buckner about how to create your strategic plan and doing business with the port. So, Natasha, with your experience in working with diverse-owned businesses, from your input, how important is it to have a strategy?
Oh, it's of utmost importance, right? A lot of people go into small business and think they need to create a business plan. Well, business plans are really only looked at for financials by banks. I really love that you started with an action plan as part of your tangibles with your SMART goal, because that's where it needs to start, is your action plan. And that needs to be ever evolving, right? As my business grows, my actions change. So one thing that I've found over and over again is businesses not being able to sustain their growth rate, and developing that action plan and continue and making it a open document that we continue to add to. It's live, right? And it continues to evolve as my business grows, so that my business does not implode. So I don't get to a space where I've got too much work and I can't perform.
So thank you for providing that importance and pointing out the action plan, really engaging that action plan. How have you assisted small businesses in implementing their action, creating the action plan and implementing the action plan?
Absolutely. So one of the things that I would do is when I first started working with small businesses, is I would come in and assess where they are, assess where they've been. It's important to create historical markers, right? That allows us to build a foundation to where we're going. So if we've done something in the past and it hasn't worked, we want to make sure we don't fall in that hole. And so as we're looking towards implementation, we want to fill those holes, fill those gaps. And most of the time with small businesses, it's people. Making sure I've hired the right people in the right spaces to do the right things. And so where they fall short is being able to pay those folks and make sure you have the right team around you. So then you've got to go back to the drawing board. Well, where do I get the funding? And that's when we go into, okay, are my financials set up straight? And delving into the resources of, how can I access these resources? I've got this work. I need these people. How can I hire them to do this work?
Access to capital. That has
Correct.
always been a challenge for diverse-owned businesses. And so that's one area in your strategic plan that you need to prepare for. Start building your relationships with financial institutes, and also those alternative financial institutes are very important. So build your relationships so you know what resources would be available for you as time goes on, because you may have to shift that. Is that correct, Natasha, that sometimes they may have to change where those resources come from? Mm-hmm.
Absolutely, Angela. I would say, in my experience, it isn't a may, it is a will, right? Because as our business grows, our the amount that we need grows, right? It's not the same. If I'm a startup, I don't need the same amount that I might need if I'm trying to go after a $30 million, government contract. Those are very, very different amounts, right? Mm-hmm. And so it changes, and we need to be able to have developed these relationships over the year to gain that access to that capital, that real live capital, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I know, Angela, a couple of shows ago, you had a young lady here who was one of the alternative financing
Yes,
sources.
True Fund, yes.
True Fund, which is, she said it was a CDI, or what's it?
CDFI, a Community Development Fund Institute. Did I get those acronyms correct?
I think that's correct,
yes.
Angela.
So outside of True Fund, there are other organizations such as Live Fund is out there. The Houston Business Development Inc. is out there. So these are alternative financial resources outside of the mainstream large banks. And they are very sensitized to small businesses and the challenges they have, and they try to work around those challenges in order to provide them financial resources to grow their business.
And those are really great places to start, right? To build those banking relationships and an alternative to a traditional lender. And as you're building, as your net worth grows, then you're able to then access more traditional banking opportunities through the SBA.
Correct. And you don't want to wait till the last minute to start building those relationships. You don't want to wait till when you need the money. You want to start building those relationships now and understanding what those requirements are in order to apply for those different finances.
Absolutely.
Another key point in your strategic planning, which is very important, is your market research. You really want to target your market. Understand, what services and or products that you're providing, and who's your market, how large is your market, and where is your market. Can you speak a little bit more about that, Natasha?
Absolutely. So not only understanding, but I'd go a step further, Angela, and say the most important aspect of your market is what differentiates you, right?
That's
what
good.
sets
Yes.
you apart from all these other businesses. If I've got 12 hairdressers, why do you do my hair the best, right? What makes you different? Are you providing the utmost hair care? Is your color wowing? And I just took hair because, we ladies.
Yep.
That's
one of the most important things to us.
Right. So what sets you apart? But that can be applied to every single business. What sets you apart? What differentiates you from someone else who's available in your market? When I owned an auto body and repair facility, what set us apart was that we worked on classic cars. We worked on classic cars, and we worked on motorcycles specifically. So those things set us apart from all of the other facilities that were around us, because you couldn't just, you weren't going to find a mechanic who could do a classic car that just would fall off a turnip truck, right? That's very specific. And so it's the same thing with every other business. What sets you apart? What differentiates you from the market and in those folks around you?
And then also on the operation side, which is very important to any business, your back end is extremely important. And a lot of time for diverse-owned businesses, small businesses, they have a tendency of working in the business versus on the business, because they're wearing so many hats, and they're doing the work, and then also trying to make sure they organize the operations of the work. So speaking on operations, what are some of the key things that they need to pay attention to or include into their strategic plan?
Absolutely. And that goes back to what I was saying earlier about people, making sure you have the correct people in the correct spaces, right? I've run into businesses where they've got one person that's doing like 6 jobs. Well, that's not really sustainable over the long haul. If our business is to grow, we got to get 5 more people in there so I don't burn out my one person, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so that is really on the operation side. Usually it comes back to people, putting the right people in the right place. You don't want your one person to be the butcher, the baker, and the candlestick maker, which often is what happens with small business, right? But that doesn't allow us to grow our capacity. If we're going to grow our capacity, we've got to put the right people in place.
And speaking of having the right people, Natasha, you know we're in a different time and a different world. So we always talk about the new type of employees that we have and the dynamics of the new way that they like to work. So it's very important to understand the talent pool that's out there these days.
Right.
And also understanding how do they fit into your business. Because they may have the skill sets, but their mindsets of what we call work ethics. Jay, is that right?
I've heard of it.
Can you attest to this?
Amen. Well, that's an interesting. You might have a skill set, but maybe not the mindset. I'm gonna have to write that down.
Yeah.
It's two different things, and sometimes we have to, I think, adjust to this new work ethic.
Correct.
As I call it. So another component to the strategy is public relations, or communications and marketing, which is so important. I think sometimes what set a company aside or differentiate them from their competitors is their attitude.
Yes.
Is their attitude about their business and how they sell their business. You can have two companies doing the same thing. One company quality may be better, but sometimes this company come in, it's the attitude and building a relationship, coming in enthusiastic and saying, my product is the best. You're not going to find this anywhere else. So building out your marketing and your public relation plan is extremely important. That ties into your target market, who you're going after, but then it also ties into your pitch. You got to believe in your product and have that passion.
Listen, you got to believe in yourself. What was that? The Wiz song? Y'all remember that Wiz song where it says you got to believe in something? So why not believe in me?
Why not believe in me? Yeah.
Yeah. So I need all my small business owners to take on ownership of that same model. You have to believe in something, so why not believe in me? Listen, I could do this, right?
Mm-hmm. And have that commitment behind that as well, because you still have to bring that quality there. Quality is so important. Quality and pricing.
Correct.
Can you want to speak to that, Natasha, as far as the quality and the pricing?
Listen,
and then we'll dive right into your area about contracting.
That is the most disappointing part is working with a small business and they're going after whatever it is that they're going after and they get it and then fail. The quality isn't up to par. They have not succeeded in their task. And that is not what we're doing. Like, you go after the money and then you get to the money, you're knocking on its door, and then to fail is not acceptable. So all the while you have to be able to perform. That's the most important part. I have to be able to perform the task or the service or supply the good or whatever is being asked of me. That's the most important part of my small business. And you talking about bad PR, when you fail and you're small, that can completely implode you as a business, right?
Yes.
And now your name is just mud on the street. So that's of utmost importance that you're able to perform on any task or contract that you're given.
And unfortunately, when a smaller, diverse business fails, it's not only your business, but it's other business behind you, because they will feel this.
Every small business.
Exactly.
Yep.
They will put you in the pool and feel as though, small businesses can't do X, Y, and Z because they don't have the quality, the capacity, the capability to do X, Y, and Z. So it's not just you; it's all. But your strategic plan is to help as a guide as you're moving forward. It's a guide on all the components of your business, of things that you say that you can do, and how you want your business to succeed. It's a check off. And so once you have that guide in place, and now you're moving towards going after business, and you're looking at contracting opportunities, that's a different type of preparation.
Right.
So, Natasha, how can diverse business prepare for upcoming bids?
So I want to stop and say your strategic plan not only is it your guide, but it should also be a living document, right? It should evolve with the capacity of your business. And your goal should be for your capacity to be different tomorrow than it is today, because you're growing. So as you're growing, the goal is to build that capacity. So we want that document to be living. That I'm going in and adjusting it as the years progress, and as I attain more skills, and as I get more contracts or suppliers or customers or whatever it is, as I grow that base, my document is living, right? Now back to what you asked me.
No problem. Thank you for wrapping that up for me. Go ahead.
What was the question again, Angela? Were we talking about government contracting?
So we were talking about preparing for upcoming bids.
Yes.
Go ahead.
So as you are looking to get into the agency space and preparing for responding to solicitations, the most important part is to be ready, right?
Yes.
We need to make sure that we're financially sound, that we have proper bonding capacity, and that we're ready to actually perform.
And all of that is in the plan. All of that is part of that strategy.
Correct.
That's a part of your strategy. So now you're moving into this. Okay, go ahead.
Correct. So now we're moving into performance, right? So we've planned, now we got to perform. And now when we're responding to those solicitations, we're listing all the places that we've performed and performed well. So if I'm responding to a solicitation and it's asking me to build a door, and I'm looking at my door, so that's why I'm saying build a door. Mm-hmm. So I want to list all of those places where I've built a door successfully, right? Mm-hmm. I want to demonstrate this is what I've done. This is what I've done successfully, and here's what sets me apart. I can build that door the fastest, the cheapest, and I'm reliable. Mm-hmm. And so those are the things that we want to get ready for as we prepare to navigate the procurement cycle on the contracting side and responding to bids.
Thank you. So we're going to take a quick break. KCOH family, call in 713-668-1230. Right after the break, we will be taking calls and dive into doing business with the poor.
Hello, this is Fred Hoyer coming to you for Bayshore Chrysler Jeep Dodge in Baytown. Wishing you and yours a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year from the Bayway family. If you're looking for a new or pre-owned car, call Brock Johnson today at 281-421-6000. That's 281-421-6000. If Brock can't make it happen, nobody can. So if you want a new car, pre-owned car, good credit, bad credit, give Brock Johnson a call today at 281-421-6000. That's 281-421-6000. We guarantee we will be any deal in town at Bayshore Chrysler Jeep Dodge in Baytown. That's right, we will be any deal in town at Bayshore Chrysler Jeep Dodge in Baytown. Good credit, bad credit, let Brock help you today. 281-421-6000. Brock Johnson and Bayshore Chrysler Jeep Dodge, a winning combination.
Bayshore Chrysler Jeep Dodge in Baytown, your Chrysler Jeep Dodge dealer. Call Brock Johnson, 281-421-6000.
Hi, I'm MC Light. You know me as the rapper. But guess what? I am the CEO of Sunny Girl Incorporated. We call it SGI. And SGI undoubtedly has a Cadillac. an Escalade to be exact. It's luxury at its finest. It's black, it's sleek, it's clean, and I can show up to any red carpet or any event and feel like I'm flossing. I love it. Cadillac.
Visit Cadillac.com for more.
5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30.
Hi, I'm JJ Walls with Sunnyside Dental, and yes, it's now been over 30 years that we've been providing quality dental care for our patients in the Houston area. It's now come to my attention that many of you that want to come to Sunnyside Dental have Medicare plans that we don't accept. Hold up, that has got to change. Sunnyside Dental is now accepting most Medicare dental plans. WellCare, Liberty, United Healthcare, Cigna, Kelsey Care Advantage, Amerigroup, Aetna, and many more. We're getting on board. Call Sunnyside Dental at 713-738-1999. If you have Medicare and would like to receive the personal touch provided by Sunnyside Dental, call us at 713-738-1999. We look forward to helping you achieve the smile that you can't wait to share with the world.
Got Medicare dental benefits? Call Sunnyside Dental 713-738-1999.
Saturdays, we're taking you back with Carrie Lewis on Inside Tracks. Soulful, funky, rhythm and blues, disco, doo-wop, rock and roll, new jack swing, and everything in between. Inside Tracks has all the classics for you and even those forgotten gems too. So join Carrie Lewis on Inside Tracks every Saturday afternoon beginning at 2 p.m. only on KCOH 1230 The Source.
Something. Why not believe in me? Hey, that is what you need to think when you out there soliciting your business. If you got to believe in something, believe in me. Welcome back to It's All About Business with Angela Freeman. And this morning we have a guest, a dynamic guest, Miss Natasha Buckner with the Port of Houston. Natasha, we ended right before the commercial break talking about preparing for upcoming bids. And I just want to make the statement that when you're looking in the future of contracting opportunity, go out there to these different organizations and see their bids that are posted online. And you can also, in some organizations, you can look at the past bids and you can see who won the past bid, how much that bid was, and what's coming down the pipeline. And that's how you start strategizing. And now is the time to go out there and look at those public areas such as the City of Houston, the Port of Houston, Metro. They all have their bids posted online, which gives you an opportunity to once again prepare your strategic plan. Isn't that right, Miss Natasha?
Oh, absolutely. So for Port Houston, it's porthouston.com, and you can navigate to the procurement side, and you're going to enter into the Buy Speed website. So Buy Speed is where you can find past bids, you can find what's currently available on the street. And, you know, Port Houston also has pieces of their strategic plan on the website as well. So the website for Port Houston is a wealth. You've just got to dig in, and that will allow our small business owners to prepare and expand upon their own strategic plans as they get to prepare. They get to interested into navigating that procurement cycle.
Okay. We have a caller on the line. Caller, please tell us your name, your business name, and what question do you have for Miss Natasha this morning?
Well, first of all, Angela, this is Evelyn Fletcher with Electronic Assembly Services. And
Good morning,
I appreciate
Evelyn.
Good morning to all of y'all. And I just want to tell Natasha, thank you you have gave us some great information. Sometimes as business owners, you know, sometimes we may think we know it all, but we don't. We have to learn something every day. My question to you is, I've been in business 30-something years, and our target was always the oil and gas industry and the energy sector, like Sarah. But now I'm trying to diversify with the EV charging stations. So I know that you have to go in solicitations and see what they are. But now that the EV charging stations are coming through, supposedly, is that something that y'all have that industry? Because I do have an action item. I always go with I have to be on the business, right? Not work the business. Mm-hmm. That's why I have people that I get to be accountable what they do, and that's by training them, having them trained. But now that I'm diversifying, this is a different situation. But it's all electrical controls, on wiring.
Correct.
My question to you is, at this point, do y'all have anything related to that y'all going to be coming into the EV charging station? Because you still have to have a strategic plan for that, correct, for your certain industry?
Absolutely, Evelyn. So what I would do, if you were interested in Port Houston specifically, I would, for you specifically, because you're on that EV side, I would dig into the environmental section of our website and look at their 2040 strategic plan. And that's going to answer all your questions. I could give you the answer, but I want you to go find it. And you are welcome to email me, and we can talk. And matter of fact, we can talk further, and we can get you looped in with those folks in environmental. But I would head over to that website. The answer is right there.
Okay. I thank you so much. You have a blessed and wonderful and Merry Christmas to all. And thank you, Angela, for having this program. It's outstanding. I listen to it every 2 weeks because you learn something every time.
Thank you, Evelyn. Thank you for calling in. We greatly appreciate it. Natasha, what is your email address?
My email address is N as in Nancy, B as in Buckner, UCKNER @porthouston.com.
You want to repeat that one more time, please?
Sure. It's N Buckner @porthouston.com.
Thank you. We have another call on the line. Caller, please state your name, your business, and what question do you have for us this morning?
Good morning. Is this all about business with Angela Freeman?
Yes, it is. This is all about business. Is this Miss Marilyn Harris?
This is Miss Marilyn Harris. Hello, and happy holidays to you, Miss Angela. And
thank you.
Miss Natasha, I just want to say good morning, and I am honored to live here in Houston where there's a show like this, where every other Saturday, like Evelyn said, we can learn something new. I'm Marilyn Harris. I'm the founder and executive director of the Women Veterans Business Center. We're right here in Houston, which is home to over 30,000 women veterans. And Natasha, my question is for you this morning. Oftentimes, I talk to women veterans and military family-owned businesses, and they want to know, what can we do at the port? What is the process of how do we get certified? Could you speak on those things quickly? And just, I have your phone number now. I'm going to give you a call. Thank you so much for being on the show this morning, and happy holidays.
Absolutely. Happy holidays to you, Marilyn. I look forward to the continued conversation. So, yeah, let's get to how you can navigate the procurement cycle for Port Houston. So, number one, if you're a small or minority business, we want you to start by getting your certifications. Places like HMSDC, the City of Houston, the Hub. The Port is not a certifying agency, but we accept those certifications. The certification for Metro, from HMSDC, the City of Houston, and the State of Texas, the Hub. We accept those certifications. So that's where we want you to start. Get certified as a small, minority, or woman-owned business, or all three. Listen, if you all three, I want you to get a certification for all three. The next step is to register in our B2G Now system, and that can be accessed right on Port Houston's website. You navigate to porthouston.com and /business equity, and it should take you right at the top. It's going to talk to you about those 3 steps: getting certified, getting registered in B2G Now, and then registering in BuySpeed. Buy speed is how I like to say, what was that guy that went viral some time ago? He said, where the money resides, where the money resides. That's where the money resides, buy speed. That's how we get to the money. That's how we're able to bid on open opportunities, see open opportunities, and that's how we get paid. So those are the 3 steps. Get certified, register on B2G Now if you're small, minority, or woman-owned, and register on Buy Speed so you can navigate the procurement cycle. Simple 3 easy steps, and they're right there on Port Houston's website.
Thank you for calling in, Marilyn. We greatly appreciate it. Natasha, can you please provide us some information on who is the port? Because for a very long time, everybody, it's a ship channel. And you see all these ships, embargoes coming in and out. But the port is a huge operation that buys so much. So can you just give who is the port? And some of the audiences may be out there saying, can the Port of Houston, what do they do? Can they buy my service? I'm too small. Do they utilize? So give us a little brief overview of who is or what is the Port of Houston.
Yes. So oftentimes when people think of the Port of Houston, they think logistics. They think trucking, right? Because of the container movement that comes in and out the port. Those are actually the port's customers. So that's how the port makes its money, through the movement of containers and all of that. So that's not we don't have anything to do with that. So if you're a small business that's a trucker, then you've got to go to the terminal toolbox. That's not going to be on the procurement side of things. So if you're wanting to navigate the procurement cycle, the port buys everything from the supplies, the office supplies, to we procure on construction projects. So, over the next couple of years, the port is actually uniquely in a unique space. Is we'll have some vertical projects, we'll have some buildings going up that will need to be built, right? Mm-hmm. And so those opportunities are unique in these next few years, but the opportunities that come up over and over again are like wharf work and expanding wharves and repairing wharves and our annual fuel. They need fuel port-wide. You need concrete port-wide, right? It's a lot of civil movement. Mm-hmm. And so that's really what the port is in a nutshell. I will say the port is like its own city. We've got a bank, we've got a fire department, we've got a police department, and of course we've got the terminal. So the port really is much bigger than most folks think.
And it buys everything, landscaping, technology, consulting services. So I highly encourage you to go out to the website and take a look at some of the things that the port procures. You may think they don't utilize your service, but it may be something out there. And then also you have to be very innovative. Once you do your research about the port, you may have to bake your business into it. And so once again, you need to go out there and sell how good you are and what you do and the value that you can bring. They may not have had it before, but they need it now. So what you have to say, Mr. J?
Oh, no, I was just listening and enjoying. I think she missed, obviously, my business they don't do, because she mentioned the butcher, the baker, the candlestick maker. We don't do that. And then I thought I could get in because I do have a turnip truck, but now... Now you're telling me.
But did you fall off the turnip?
I like, when the last time I seen a turnip truck? She said, stuff falling off a turnip truck. When the last time I've seen a turnip truck? No, but Miss Natasha, I'm really, as a business owner, I'm really enjoying your conversation and the knowledge and energy that you bring to this. I was telling Miss Angela, I got to get this woman in my life to come kick me in the butt and make me do what I need to be doing.
Yes. Listen, now I will do it. And one of the things that I do at Port Houston, because we don't want to forget as our time grows
Yes.
comes to an end, is I run Port Houston's flagship program called Opportunity U.
I was coming to that, Natasha. I was bringing it up. Go ahead, girl.
So in March, we will have our cohort 5. This is like my baby, right?
Come on.
And I really dig in with the small businesses that we work with. Port Houston has an overall goal of 35% small business usage and an aspirational goal, MWBE usage of 30%. And so the MWBE program is fairly new. That came after our disparity study. But Port Houston has had a small business program for, I think, like somewhere around 20 years. Don't get me if I'm wrong. Don't call me. But they've had a small business program for quite a long time, right? And so one of the things that came about from the disparity study is a need to really be change agents, right, in the community. And Opportunity U was birthed out of that. So my colleague did the first 2 cycles, cycle 1, cohort 1, and cohort 2, and I took over this year with cohort 3, and we had some dynamic businesses that came through cohort 3 and cohort 4 that have really had some awesome successes with the port. But now it's time for cohort 5. So I am looking for businesses that are construction adjacent and construction minded businesses. I'm looking for you. If you have a construction business, if you own a construction company or a construction adjacent business, reach out to me, email me. I want to talk to you. I want to see if port work is something that makes sense for your business, and I want to get you involved in Opportunity U.
Ms. Buckner, how small of a construction business can it be? And please give your email address out again. But first, when you say construction business or construction adjacent, let's break that down to smaller companies, please.
Yes. And I get weary about it, right? Because I'm like, I don't want to exclude anybody. I want to be able to talk to everybody because whatever level you are, we can partner. We can get you with some other folks, right? It depends on what it is that you do. I don't want to exclude anyone, but we know that port work is hefty work. We know it's hefty work. I think that they'll be building our PCC center coming up, and that's a big project that is construction centered and construction related. So we know that your bonding capacity has to be fairly robust. And if you don't have a robust bonding capacity, guess what we're doing through Opportunity U is we're bringing the SBA in to talk to us about funding, to get funding partners in the room to real live talk to these small businesses. And I've told them, listen, if you're not ready to lend, this isn't the room I want you in. If you're ready to lend, come on and talk to me because I don't want to just talk about it. I want to be about it. That's what I pride myself on, right?
Yes.
And so we're bringing those banks in. We're bringing those bonding companies in so that you guys can talk to them in that room, in that Opportunity U room. So by the end, I want you responding to open solicitations at the port, but you have to be ready. So back to your question, how big, and how small? Well, I don't have a specific answer for that because I want to look at each individual business and say if it makes sense to do port work. But what I will do is say that you can see on By Speed every project that has come through the port for the last several years. You can navigate to it on By Speed and see the type of projects and see the businesses that have won those projects. Is that all right?
That's all right. How does one spell By Speed? You keep using that term, but how do you spell that, please?
Yes, it's BUYSPEED. And you can navigate it right to, if you go to porthouston.com, you navigate over to procurement, and then it will show you register and buy seed. And you click there.
And your email address again, please?
Yes, sir. It's nbuckner@porthouston.com. And you can also apply for Opportunity U right there on Port Houston's website.
How long?
And I think it's under training.
How long is that program?
That program is 10 weeks. You spend 10 weeks with me. You get me for 10 weeks. And we start with, of course, funding and finance through the SBA. And then we'll end with a big graduation ceremony at the port. But you're going to meet folks at the port. You're going to take a tour of one of the terminals. We really dig into it. We're going to talk about, we're going to delve into an RFP, a CSP. Those are specific types of solicitations. So you're going to go through that. So by the time you leave me, you are fully aware of port work and what it requires to respond to a solicitation with the port.
That's excellent. And how many hours does a company has to invest?
So it's 3 hours for Thursdays, and our tentative start date is March 21st. So, and it's going to be 3 hours on Thursdays, and most of the classes will be held right here in town at the SBDC Center.
Okay. You know the address for the SBDC? Which area?
It's right here on. Is this?
It's the one off of the 610 loop.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Excellent. Which
so
is
not far from HMSCC offices.
Correct, in the Galleria area, central location. And
yes.
We have a caller on the line. Caller, please state your name, your company name, and what question or comment do you have for us?
Good morning, Angela Freeman.
Oh, good morning, Miss Sabita.
Look who it is.
Oh, welcome to the show. Welcome to It's All About Business with Angela Freeman.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, listeners. Angie, I want to say thank you for hosting the Port of Houston. I got up super early just to listen in. I want to thank Natasha Buckner for doing a fantastic job representing the Port of Houston. And Angie, I want to thank you for your passion and just, the outreach through this vehicle to get the message out. And I'm sorry, my housekeeper's at the door. Give me 1 second.
Okay.
I'm going to get me one of those.
Yeah.
I know, right?
So am I. So I guess.
We will pre-introduce her while she does that. This is the Director of Business Equity who has joined us on the call, and Dr. Sabita Singh. So we are so excited that she is on here. She can fill in all the holes that I'm sure Natasha left. Anything that I left off, she can get us together, right?
Well, it's great to have the Port family to join us and providing this valuable information to our audience today. Sabita, are you there?
Good morning. I am back. Sorry,
awesome.
I had to
no problem.
One matter.
We all said that we want to get one of those.
We're all lined up for that.
Exactly. And Natasha did properly give an introduction to you that you are the director of the program. But go ahead and fill in some things. Tell us, what is your role at the port?
So prior to joining the port, I worked at the Houston Minority Supplier Development Council, and I will continue to give kudos to what a great agency Ingrid and Angela and the others there lead. And I think that really, that really cements the foundational work we need for certifying and technical assistance of those small business. Here at the port, I have a great team. So our department is led by our chief, Maxine Buckles, who's our chief business equity officer. And, she is fantastic and passionate like the rest of us. And I like to say we have 3 swim lanes in business equity. One is compliance, because compliance is very, very important as we look across performance and participation of small businesses with our awards and our contracts and stuff like that. And then we have our business outreach department that Pedro Garcia leads. And, you know, a lot of you may know Pedro because he's at every community event, every industry event. He is our port mascot, I like to call him. But he really gets into the weed, goes out there, does great ambassadorship for the work that we do across business equity and port opportunities, and engages with the agencies and the small businesses. And then we've got the supplier diversity team. So Brenda Rose is the manager of that department, and Natasha and Brenda are doing a great job, you know, building out, you know, the support and technical assistance we need for all the small businesses. But this really ties into our strategic plan, because I know today's topic is about strategic plan. You know, with the Port of Houston, we have projects that are goal-oriented and some that just have no goals, primarily because of the nature of the type of work it is. And when we look at those goal-oriented awards, we have to really, really be mindful about assigning specific goals. So we do goals contract by contract. We dig into the scope of work to identify any areas of opportunities for participation of small businesses. And through that, we dig into what we do a deep dive into our vendor availability pool. And Natasha mentioned earlier B2G. So B2G is really that tool that helps us source for those diverse vendors by our certifying agency partners. And, you know, we will put in those NICS codes. So a lot of small businesses, please pay attention to your NICS codes. Because when we search for businesses, we strategically source by NICS codes. And that is the specific industry code that talks to the work or your area of specialization. But that also tells us how many vendors are out in the market. And then we look at that and calculate our disparity ratios. How many vendors that can do it, how many vendors are able, willing, and competent to do the job, and we assign a goal. And that's really important, right? When we talk about the work we're doing with our pool.
Dr. Singh, I do hate to cut you off, but we're wrapping up right now. But what I like to do is to invite you to come back and talk about the program at a high-level overview and talk about that compliance. And one thing I want to say about the port, they are dedicated.
Season 1230, The Source. Informative, entertaining, inspiring. It's the Jackson Political Report. Hosted by veteran political strategist Ron Jackson. Ron will discuss Bayway, your Houston Lincoln dealer.
Hello, this is Fred Hoyer coming to you for Bayway Lincoln, a part of the Bayway Auto Group, wishing you and yours a Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays from the Bayway family. You want great service, call Fred. You want great savings, call Fred at 281-929-6500. That's 281-929-6500. You want a pre-owned car, call Fred. You want a new car, call Fred. Today, again, at 281-929-6500. That's 281-929-6500. And experience the Bayway way where service is king. Right now, great savings on Lincoln Navigator, great savings on Lincoln Aviators, great savings on Lincoln Nautilus, and great savings on Lincoln Corsair. So give me a call at 281-929-6500. That's 281-929-6500. Open Saturday.
Bayway Lincoln, 45 South at the Fuquay exit. Call Fred Hoyer, 281-929-6500. 281-929-6500. Bayway, your Houston Lincoln dealer.
We got to stop from messing up the land when what we understand. This is a lesson on the chance. Everybody, it's a future shock.
Good morning and welcome to the Jackson Political Report. I'm Ron Jackson, your host. Well, the runoff election is over, and Houston has a new mayor-elect and 6 new council members and a controller. In the highly anticipated mayor runoff race, it was a shocker to some, and it was actually over before it even began, with John Whitmire easily defeating Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee in a landslide. After the November 7th general election, John Whitmire led by 8 percentage points, 43% to 35%, going into the runoff. In the runoff, after 9 days of early voting, the results were reported. John Whitmire led 66% to 34% and ahead by 40,000 votes. On Saturday, Election Day, only 67,000 voters turned out to vote, and Whitmire expanded his lead and won by 60,000 votes, a 30% margin. In the 18th